Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. We pay homage to the Blessed One, Supremely Enlightened Buddha. Sadhu. We pay homage to our teacher, Lokuswami Nohanse. Sadhu. So this is the sutta. We discussed half of it, one of our previous classes, right? So this is from the Samyutta Nikaya, the connected discourses of the Buddha. Sutta number 55.40. And it was conversation between the Sakyan Upasaka Nandiya and the Buddha. When we were studying this sutta, if you can remember, we learned about two categories of people or two categories of beings in this world. What is the first one? Ordinary people. And the second category? Noble disciples. We also learned the difference between them, and some similarities also mean difference about their rebirth and about the karma accumulation, how they are different in both categories, and also special spiritual faculties in noble disciples' lives, right? Mainly the 4 factors of stream entry, remember? Yeah, because that was included in his question. He asked the Blessed One, if a noble disciple were to totally and utterly lack the 4 factors of stream entry, would they live negligently? That was his question, right? So we learned about those 4 factors of stream entry, which is, if you can remember,
Unshakable.
unshakable,
Unshakable
yes,
confidence in Buddha.
unshakable confidence in the Buddha. Second factor of stream entry, unshakable confidence in the Dhamma. And the third factor of the stream entry, unshakable confidence in the Sangha. Fourth factor of the stream entry, virtue, right? Admired by noble ones, Aryakanta Sila. Admired by noble ones. Right? These are the 4 factors of stream entry. And we also discussed that when they, as the realization of the 4 noble truths in the initial stage, these 4 factors of stream entry get established in that practitioner naturally, as a result of the realization of the Four Noble Truths. And they also have these spiritual faculties in their life. What are they? Faith faculty, energy faculty, energy faculty, mindfulness faculty, concentration faculty, and wisdom faculty. Faith means in Pali, Shraddha. Energy means Virya. Mindfulness means Sati. Concentration means Samadhi. Wisdom means Panya. So all these noble disciples who have these factors of stream entry also have these spiritual faculties. So that is the transformation takes place when an ordinary person becomes a noble disciple. Normally, in ordinary people's life, right, we know what they have. What do ordinary people have? They lack this and they lack this, but ordinary mind has lots of other things.
Sensual pleasures.
Huh?
Sensual pleasures.
Desire for sense pleasures, anger, ill will, jealousy, right? Conceit, and also sometimes compassion, generosity. Those are also found, right? But not these ones. These ones are exclusively in the minds of noble disciples. Because for a human being, a god or goddess, a wise person, wise individual, for such a wise person to have these spiritual faculties in their mind, they need a special realization. That's the realization of the Four Noble Truths, the truth of this life. The realization of the cause and effect mechanism, the dependent origination, paticca a deep understanding about how things happen inside this life, right? And because the enlightened one guides them, enlightened one's teachings guide them to see the truth of this life, which is hidden for a long time. With the realization, these spiritual faculties also get established in them. So his question was, if a noble disciple were to totally and utterly lack the four factors of stream entry, that means according to his question, what do those noble disciples lack? According to his explanation, he thinks if a noble disciple doesn't have unshakable confidence or unshakable confidence in the Buddha or unshakable confidence of the Dhamma, unshakable confidence in the Sangha, or if he doesn't have precepts, right? That means that noble disciple lives negligently. He asks that, remember? And Buddha answered, Nandiya, someone who totally and utterly lacks these four factors of extreme entry is not a negligent noble disciple. He is an outsider who belongs to the ordinary persons, I say. He never belongs to the noble disciples category, right? He is always in this category, ordinary people category. I say, the Buddha said, nevertheless, Nandi as to how a noble disciple lives negligently and how they live diligently. Listen and apply your mind well. I will teach you, right? So then Nandiya replied to the Buddha, yes, Bhante, please teach me out of compassion. Then Buddha explained about the two categories of noble disciples, right? So now we go from ordinary people category, noble disciple category to two categories of noble disciples, right? What is the first category? Negligent noble disciples. All noble disciples. And one category is negligent. And the other category? What is the other category? Diligent. We already learned about negligent noble disciple, didn't we? You remember? Okay, can everybody read why they are called negligent noble disciples?
How does a noble disciple live negligently? First, the noble disciple has experiential confidence in the Lord.
And three dot means about other three factors. The noble disciple has experiential or unshakable confidence in the Buddha, unshakable confidence in the Dhamma, unshakable confidence in the Sangha, and they have precepts, virtue, like admired by the noble ones. With that, what do? They are content. What do they do? Yeah, please read.
No? They can offer the efforts of solitude by day or retreat by night. When they live negligently, there's no joy. When there's no joy, there's no rapture. When there's no rapture, there's no tranquility. When there's no tranquility, there's suffering.
When one is suffering, the mind does not become immersed in samadhi. When the mind is not immersed in samadhi, principles do not become clear. Because principles have not become clear, they become to live negligent. Principles means deep Dhamma. So when their mind is not immersed in samadhi, concentration, the deep Dhamma do not become clear. Because deep Dhamma have not become clear, these noble disciples are called, they live negligently. So what do they have? Negligent. Negligent noble disciples, what do they have?
The four factors.
They have the four factors of stream entry. Four factors of stream entry. That means they have unshakable confidence in the Buddha, unshakable confidence in the teachings, Sangha, they are following precepts well, right? And they have the faculty of faith, faculty of energy, faculty of mindfulness, right? And some degree of concentration, and then wisdom. But that concentration is not sharp, we can understand, because when they fall into the negligent noble disciples category, right? It's not sharp enough to penetrate the deep Dhamma, right? So these they have these things. What don't they have? Uh, because they are satisfied with these four factors of stream entry, they think, right? Oh, I have unshakable confidence, I have precepts, I have these beautiful things. So with that, they are so happy, they are content with that, and do not make further effort for solitude by day and retreat by night. That means they don't take this mindfulness meditation training seriously. They don't dedicate time for that. Okay, so they let's say they don't meditate. Easy to understand, okay? They don't meditate, right? They don't meditate. Meditate when? Day and night. So in order to move from this category to this category, they have to meditate during daytime and also nighttime. Not only one session of the time, right? Day and night. That doesn't mean the whole day, but at least some time during daytime and some time during nighttime. Because most of the stream enterers of the Buddha, those who attain four factors of stream entry are called Sotapanna disciples, stream entrants, who have attained the first stage of enlightenment. The most of those disciples who attain the first stage of this enlightenment were lay people, not monks and nuns. So they, even in the time of the Buddha, they were doing jobs, earning money, raising the families, lots of responsibilities, duties, definitely. So um, this doesn't mean that they forget all their responsibilities, the day-to-day duties, and meditate. No, this doesn't mean that. But the negligent noble disciples, um, they don't take the meditation seriously. Okay, that's the meaning. As a result, when they live negligently. Negligently means even though they have confidence, unshakable confidence in the triple gem, even though they follow their precepts well, they still have a lot to do, right? They have to realize more things. They are just in the beginning of the path. They have just attained the first stage of enlightenment. So, in order for them to realize more things about this life, about the Four Noble Truths, they had to make an effort. They had to follow the same Noble Eightfold Path which they have just entered, right? So, why? Because there are lots of layers and layers of defilements. Hindrances are there. Those defilements, those hindrances block their wisdom. They have to be a once returner, they have to be a non-returner, they have to be an arahant. They have to understand more things. But because their mind is deep, is like full with these defilements and negative things, hindrances, there is no joy. There is no joy in the mind. They get angry. They have lustful thoughts. They have greedy thoughts. It's still extreme interest. They get sad. They get upset. Uh, Sometimes they feel remorseful about things. What are they? They are all hindrances. And these hindrances, the lustful thoughts, desire for sense pleasures, angry thoughts, thoughts of restlessness, thoughts of remorse, all these things, do they bring joy or sadness? Sadness. That's the meaning here. There is no joy in that mind. Because they don't meditate, they don't practice concentration day and night, they don't have joy. No joy. This joy is referred to spiritual joy, not the joy people experience when they eat delicious food, when they drink alcohol, when they listen to music, when they dance, when they have a party. That's not described here. This is spiritual joy, okay? No joy. When there is no joy, there is no rapture. Another level of joy. There is no rapture. Again, this is spiritual rapture. Normally, in the ordinary mind, the worldly happiness, the worldly joy, that is bound up with lots of pain, unsatisfactoriness. But this joy, this rapture, spiritual joy, spiritual rapture, lead to the development of lots of wholesome qualities. There is no harm of this spiritual joy, spiritual rapture, right? But they neglect it. Maybe because they are very busy with other things, right? But still, they are very fortunate because they have already escaped from the rebirth of miserable places. That's a big advantage. Like, no matter where they die, when they die, how they die, they have already escaped from a big, big danger in life. What is that big danger? Falling into a miserable rebirth. Falling into rebirth in hell, falling into rebirth in the animal realm, falling into rebirth in the ghostly realm. They are not going to be reborn. But now Buddha explains about a different side in their life. So no meditation, no joy, no rapture. There's no tranquility. Passaddhi. That's passaddhi. Tranquility. No tranquility. No tranquility. Bodily tranquility and mental tranquility. Okay? When there is no tranquility, there is suffering. There is suffering. Ordinary people also lack spiritual joy, spiritual rapture, spiritual tranquility, and because of that, they are also suffering. Noble disciples also. Some noble disciples lack spiritual joy, spiritual rapture, spiritual tranquility. They also are suffering. Is that clear?
What's the difference, man? Is it like less time than ordinary people, or
They are suffering.
all the time?
They are suffering. These people are suffering. Yeah,
The
that's
degree of suffering must be less than that.
must be less, right? Because there is a powerful reminder inside these noble disciples' life, right? They would eventually escape from this suffering created by uh, this negligence. They will come out of it. But ordinary people will live with that until they transform their life to the life of a noble disciple. So because there is no tranquility, they are suffering. That means mind has some degree of suffering. Because there is suffering in the mind. That means due to those defilements, as we discussed before. When there are those defilements in the mind, there is some suffering inside, even in the noble disciple's life. Because in order for the mind to be concentrated, mind to attain concentration, always Buddha teaches, Sukhino Chittang Samadhyati. Only a happy mind, spiritual happy mind becomes concentrated. Now these disciples don't have that. Because of that, the mind does not become immersed in samadhi, the concentration. When you are practicing breathing meditation, loving kindness meditation, any other meditation, you reach gradually you reach this samadhi, means concentration of the mind. Your mind is not disturbed by wandering thoughts, angry thoughts, greedy thoughts, sad thoughts. Your mind is focused on that meditation. And if a meditation is taking off well, those practitioners experience that spiritual joy, spiritual rapture, tranquility, concentration. So this noble disciple is not that fortunate yet, right? As a result of lack of samadhi, the mind is scattered, full of defilements, at least for temporary. They don't achieve this suppression of defilements. The mind is not concentrated. When the mind is not immersed in samadhi, the deep Dhamma, the vipassana knowledge, does not become clear. Because it is essential for a mind to attain suppressing of defilements in order to realize the five aggregates of clinging clearly. The dependent origination, the Four Noble Truths, the cause and effect mechanism, the deep Dhamma cannot be realized by a mind that is not concentrated well. That is why Buddha teaches, Samahito bhikkhave bhikkhu yatha bhutang pajanati. A monk with a concentrated mind understands the truth of life. Right? So we need samatha, we need vipassana. Yatha bhuta means vipassana, understanding the truth of life. To see the things as they really are. So he cannot gain that deep understanding further because the mind is not concentrated. Okay, that is why he is called a negligent noble disciple. So he has the factors of his entry, but he is still negligent. Is that clear? So this is an answer for a layperson given by the Blessed One because he was questioned about some negligent disciples and diligent disciples. Then Buddha explains about a noble disciple who is diligent. This is the diligent noble disciple. Does anybody have any questions about negligent noble disciples before we move on?
The disciple, will they eventually fall into universalism?
Never. Did everybody hear his question? If a noble disciple does not meditate, will he eventually fall into the category of ordinary people? Never.
Yeah,
Because the meditation will come and go. Sometimes he will meditate, sometimes he will not meditate. Sometimes hindrances will be there in the mind, sometimes hindrances will be suppressed. Sometimes he will experience concentration, sometimes he will not. They will come and go. But these four factors of extreme entry will never go away from him. They are already well established. They are in unshakable status. They will only grow. Even from unshakable status, they grow more until they attain the fourth stage of enlightenment. So because these factors of extreme entry are well grounded, well rooted, well established, they never degrade. They will never disappear. Okay? So if somebody thinks, I had some faith in the enlightened one, in the teachings, but I don't see that faith anymore in me. I was following precepts well before, but I don't see those precepts now. What does that mean? They were not stream enterers, right? They were trying to achieve that kind of confidence, that kind of virtue, but something happened. If those things change, that means they were not stream enterers. Diligent, noble disciples. So this is really interesting because it is extremely difficult to be a noble disciple, even more difficult to become a diligent noble disciple, right? So what do they have? 4 factors of stream entry. What do they have? What else? They have meditation. That means why? Because they are not content with the
In the previous paragraph.
they are not content with the confidence in the Buddha, confidence in the teachings, confidence in the Sangha, because they have they are following precepts. They don't think it is enough. It is enough for me. I have achieved most of it, so let me relax. No, he doesn't think like that. That's the meaning. They are not content with that confidence or with that virtue. And they instead make a further effort for solitude by day and retreat by night. They practice 4 foundations of mindfulness during daytime. Because in the 4 foundations of mindfulness, we have the Sati Sampajanya, right? For example, Sati Sampajanya includes the practicing mindfulness while walking, standing, sitting, lying down, sati. You guard the mind from hindrances. And then Sampajanya means mindfulness and awareness in day-to-day activities while eating, drinking, wearing clothes, um, going to work, and speaking. There are so many day-to-day activities, and Buddha explains you can practice mindfulness and awareness in those day-to-day activities, right? So even though we have so many other duties, we still can practice mindfulness and awareness when we are doing those things. We focus on that body posture or that duty so that our mind is not carried away by those unnecessary and awesome negative qualities. If you read the 4 foundations of mindfulness discourse, you can learn more. So that way they practice solitude by day and by night, right? They find some time to practice these, or even deep meditation during daytime, during nighttime, practicing walking meditation. Some people they have some space reserved in their home. During nighttime, they practice walking meditation so that they can overcome sleepiness and drowsiness, right? Practicing walking meditation, sitting meditation. That's how they live diligently. They live diligently. Now they have confidence in the Triple Gem. They have precepts plus meditation. So when they live like this diligently, joy springs up. Now the spiritual joy coming from the mind. Spiritual joy. Joy is there. So these are all plus, right? Joy. This is a different kind of happiness. Only a very few people in this world would experience this. This is different from the joy, from the happiness that would come when we eat delicious food, when we drink delicious things, when we listen to music, when we watch movies. Completely different. This leads to lots of wholesome qualities. This kind of spiritual joy, spiritual rapture, this tranquility will lead to the development of 7 enlightenment factors. When the ordinary mind enjoys this worldly happiness, Buddha explains that person should be scared of that happiness. Because if that person cannot see the limits of that ordinary happiness, that person will end up in some kind of danger. That's the danger of the ordinary pleasures, worldly pleasures. But this spiritual joy, this spiritual rapture, spiritual tranquility, no limits. You can practice anytime you like, as much as you like. There is no danger, no harm. Because this is devoid of unwholesome qualities. This joy, this rapture, this tranquility is based on a wholesome meditation object. Either loving kindness, breathing, thoughts of compassion, thoughts of appreciative joy, thoughts of vipassana, right? Thoughts of the Four Noble Truths, all wholesome thoughts are based on for this meditation. See that? There are two sides in our life, right? One side is risky, another side is always safe. This is the safe side. So then this joy leads to rapture, spiritual rapture. That's why when people live ordinary life, okay, they spend years and years, the entire life, gratifying the eyes, gratifying the ears, entertaining them, right? Nose, tongue, body, gratifying these things. What happens when they get old? How to bring that happiness in now? Eyes are old, cannot see, right? Ears are old, cannot hear the favorite music. Nose is old, cannot smell the fragrance. Tongue is dying, cannot feel the taste. Body is weak, cannot move, cannot run, cannot go to the places he or she used to go. All the doors of happiness are shut or going to be shut. Can you imagine that sadness inside now? Because those were the sources of happiness, right? Now, what are the other ways that person can experience happiness? None. If that person did not have the access for these spiritual teachings, there are no other sources that would make that person happy. Cannot see the grandkids anymore. Eyesight is gone. Cannot hear the voices of grandkids. Gone. Hearing is gone. Cannot go for a walk with the grandkids. How many sources of happiness are gone? But think about this one. This joy, spiritual joy, this spiritual happiness, this rapture, this tranquility, entirely a mental thing. It's not coming through the eyes, through visual objects. This happiness is not coming through the ears, through sounds. This is not coming through the smells. This is not coming through the tastes. This is not coming through the tangibles. This is discovered by an enlightened one. That means even though all those doors are shut, all those sources of happiness are gone, still this human being, this wise person, can live happily. Isn't that an amazing discovery? Done only by an enlightened one. And this is the way they experience that happiness. So even though that loved ones are not near them, even though they cannot watch movies, even though they cannot listen to music, they cannot walk, they cannot go to parks, still maybe they are lying on a bed or sitting on a chair all day, still they are the happy ones. They are experiencing an advanced happiness in life. They don't feel sad, they don't feel um, abandoned, they don't feel the pain of loneliness. No. That's how Buddha saves lives. Right? Because this joy, this happiness, is not coming through the five senses. It's coming through the development of wholesome object. Meditation is practiced. That is why when many things leave us, when we get to the last stage of our life, when many things leave us, Dhamma never leaves us. Dhamma is always with us. Isn't that beautiful? That's amazing. That's the best investment in life. Otherwise, people will leave us. The favorite vehicle we used to drive will leave us. The houses will leave us. Children would put us somewhere, in a caregiving center, whatever, wherever, right? Children would leave us. Money would leave us. Dhamma will never leave you. Dhamma is there for the protection. When the mind is full of rapture, the body becomes tranquil. When the body is tranquil, they feel bliss. They feel bliss. And when blissful, the mind becomes immersed in samadhi. Sukhino chittang samadhyati. The blissful mind becomes concentrated. Maybe at the age of 60, 70, 80, doesn't matter. Age doesn't matter. Still, that mind attains concentration. So that is why, we should not think that we are unfortunate when we cannot move, when we are sick physically, and when we are disabled, when we are on a wheelchair. We should not think we are unfortunate. It is just the body. Mind is still there, so precious, lots of opportunities to develop that mind still available, right? That's why some people, when they come here with the cancer or with another disability, first when they come, we feel like there's some sadness inside. They think like they have lost many things in life. Then we ask, you know that in your life you have something that can be developed fully, and you still have that? And then they ask, wow, what is that? Because they already concluded that they have lost everything in their life. They don't have much time to live, and they have to leave everybody. They have to leave everything. Like, what else do I have in life that can be, called important or whatever, right? They have already concluded. So when they ask, what is that? And we say, it is your mind. Nothing has happened to your mind. The cancer is in your body. Or another disability is in your body. Body is fragile. Everybody's body is like that, not only yours. But you have this amazing mind. Start practicing loving kindness meditation. You start practicing for establishments of mindfulness. You can do that until the last moment of your life. You have a question? Oh. Dementia? I think there is different levels of dementia. Different levels of dementia. Even some of those patients might have some opportunity at least to develop the mind, at least in some degree. We cannot say for sure, but if it is severe, then if they cannot focus on these deep dhamma, the mindfulness objects, it's sad, right? That's why so we were talking about physical disabilities, physical illnesses. But on the other hand, mental illnesses is a sad thing. Sometimes it's difficult to overcome, difficult to cure mental illnesses. That is why when somebody's mind is very healthy, functional, and uh, meditation objects can be developed in that mind, one should take advantage of it before the mind loses that power, that ability, that energy. This is not a lesson. Body is not permanent, and that ability of the mind is not also permanent. It will go away for some people. Animals from the birth, they don't have that ability. Because before they were in the human world, they were humans. When they were humans, they did not use their mind to develop. And that karma took them to a realm where they cannot develop their mind. Other beings in the lower realms cannot, their minds don't have that ability. They were all in the human world before. When they had it, they didn't use it. Now they don't have it. Same will happen to us. Now we have it. If we don't use this, if we don't use these techniques to cleanse the mind from anger, to remove ill will, to remove jealousy, to remove conceit, to remove greed, to remove craving, to remove addictions, if we don't use this opportunity, we don't know when we are going to get it again. Because things are not permanent. Everything is temporary. We use these temporary things to achieve a lasting peace. Buddha explains, when the mind is concentrated in samadhi, deep dhamma become clear, and that concentrated mind, as Buddha said, samahito bhikkhave bhikkhu yata bhutam pajanati, that concentrated mind can see things as they really are, can see the true nature of the body, feelings, perceptions, volitions, and consciousness, the true nature of the dependent origination. And they're called the noble disciples who live diligently. They might attain the second stage of enlightenment, third stage of enlightenment, fourth stage of enlightenment, and freedom from suffering, Nibbana. The diligent noble disciples will attain Nibbana soon. Okay? Sadhu. So to complete the note, they have joy, they have rapture, they have tranquility, they have concentration,
and then see what
and
they
they,
really are.
yeah, they have vipassana knowledge. Another word, right?
Yes.
Vipassana knowledge. Knowledge to see things as they really are.
Same as wisdom.
Wisdom. Isn't that a beautiful sutta?
Yes.
Bante,
All suttas are beautiful.
Nagoda Bante. So if somebody has this perfect mind wherein he can see what is actually in there. I remember Bante last time we're starting to talk about the next step. So he will develop something like a disenchantment and then leading to dispassion and would be grounds for liberation, freedom. So is there anything else, Bante, we have to know as far as disenchantment and dispassion are? Thank you, Bante.
Yeah, so this path after concentration leads to that advanced realization of disenchantment, which is nibbida, and dispassion, which is viraga, the detachment from all cravings, and then vimukti.
And adinava, seeing the dangers.
Yeah, that happens as soon as they have samadhi. They are seeing the danger, the drawbacks of conditioned things. As the result, they attain disenchantment, which is another knowledge. With that disenchantment, they achieve another knowledge that's called dispassion, viraga, and then they achieve the end of craving, which is liberation, or nibbana. Yeah, this path all the way leading to those advanced achievements.
Oh, yes, Bante. So the dispassion is all the cravings, not only the sensual pleasure, but also the
All cravings.
existence, non-existence. Am I right,
All
Bante?
cravings, yeah.
Yeah, all cravings. And that's why it leads to liberation. Thank you, Bante.
Okay.
Correct. Thank you, Bante.
Okay. Nandi was so lucky to learn all these things sitting in front of an enlightened one, right? And there was a problem in his question, right? So then, but Buddha explained him everything. Now he knows. I think he attained stages of enlightenment when the Buddha was alive. There are other discourses also given to him. He was a relative of the Buddha. Sakya clan. And also he was in the same village where Buddha was born, Kapilavatthu. He went there, remember? Now it is in Lumbini, right? It's in Nepal area. Kapilavatthu. Oh. The Buddha's birthplace. Okay, we do the merit sharing. Sadhu. We collected lots of merit this evening by going for refresh triple gem, observing precepts, practicing meditation, reading the words of the Buddha, and also through the Dhamma discussion. We share all the merit with our teacher, Lokuswami Nuhanse.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
We share all the merit with monks and nuns in the world.
Sadhu, sadhu.
We share all the merit with our parents, teachers, family members, with all beings, and also with all the heavenly beings. May all beings enjoy good health, long life, happiness, and peace.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, I'm going to chant the verses of blessings. Abhivadana Silesa Nichang Vardha Pachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvano Sukham Balan Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Meva Chayato Nibbana Sampatti Iminate Samijjato. Suki.
Maya kata punya samina
Sadhu
samina kata punya mayang kata
Anumodita.
sadu sadu okasa dua tena kata sapang atau kamatan dan
Aman.
okasa kami hati okasa kami hati okasa
Suki, Dukkam. May you be well and happy. Namo Buddhaya.